Hey, this is Eric with the Post-Apoc here with Webmaster Skreep. We're hanging out back in the workshop, and I wanted to make a short video about pocket knife deployment because a lot of my knives, I carry a lot of different pocket knives, and they all have unique ways of opening. This is the one I carry the most. It's the CRKT M16-14Z, and it's got the Carson flipper on the back, but it's also got the thumb stud. The thumb stud on this is not the best. I don't really like it. But I just use the Carson flipper most of the time. I also carry the cold Steel Recon 1, and it's got a really good thumb stud on it. I also, at times, carry the SOG Pentagon Elite 1, and it has a thumb stud, but each of these knives has a different method of deployment that I think is a little bit better than the thumb stud, and knives that have no thumb studs also have a few methods that I can show you. So first off, the SOG Pentagon Elite 1, it's a super smooth knife, the thumb stud works great, but it's also got this proprietary arc lock system on it. And one thing I figured out is that if you just put one thumb on the arc lock and just pull it down a little bit, the knife blade starts to pop out because of the way the arc lock fits into the base of the blade. So you can just take one thumb and hold that arc lock down just a little bit and flick your wrist, and you can deploy the blade and put the blade away, both, by just pressing the rocker lock and flicking your wrist. Way cooler than using the thumb stud, and you can't put the knife away with the thumb stud, but you can put it away by using that arc lock. Okay, the Recon 1, you can use the thumb stud, but since this is a good thick heavy blade, you can also just fling it out. And I'm sure this has a name. I don't know what to call it. I've just figured it out on my own. I'm sure somebody else has figured it out and given it a name. But if you flick your wrist, if you rotate your wrist, the blade kind of pops out from the handle a little bit just because of the weight of the blade. So if you make a little L-shaped motion, so you rotate your wrist and then whip it out, you can open the blade without even touching the thumb stud. You can take the thumb stud completely off and just whip the blade out. So again, I'm whipping my wrist down like that to get the blade to pop out a little bit, and then once it's out a tiny bit, I whip my wrist outward to open the knife. The little L-whip method works just as well with the CRKT. Again, we're going to rotate the wrist and then whip it out just like that. So I'm not touching the Carson flipper, I'm not touching the thumb stud, just holding it right there, rotating my wrist down, and whipping it outward. Any knife that has a heavy enough blade, that'll work. So, I also have these two cheap little carnival knives that Skreep brought over. These are the cheapest pieces of shit pocket knives you could possibly get, worth about 25 cents. They don't have a thumb stud, they don't have a flipper, they're both just lock back style knives, and their blades are not heavy enough to do the little L whip. So, what's a cool way to take these things out that you can do with one hand? When you're holding the knife, just spin it upside down. So, when I'm holding the pocket knife like this, I'm just going to spin it up and down, or spin it upside down so that I can hold the blade with my thumb and my index finger. Can you see that clearly? Spin it upside down, grab the blade, let the weight of the handle flip the knife open. So I'll show you that in one smooth motion. I take the knife out, spin it upside down, grab a hold of the blade, and use the weight of the handle to flip it open. Just like that. It even works with these really, really thin, lightweight little pocket knives. There you have it. Alright, this is Eric and Skreep with the Post-Apoc. How does the beard look on film? This method, the little L-whip method, works just as well. What are you doing?
I'm making sure I don't get stabbed.
Okay, I'm not.
Oh, and when I'm recording, I can do this.
Oh, you have to, occasionally. Please.